called Pushing the Buttons, everybody. Pushing the buttons. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me. I am back 2 times, one day. Holy crapola, Batman. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. So here it is. Coming back to do $10 readings. So I'm on here online. If you are wanting a reading, it's $10. You can definitely, let me see if I can do this. Yeah. You can definitely email an email transfer to the Guru Mama. I'm just writing this up here at gmail.com. And I know I have Kathy. Kathy has gotten a reading as for this. So here it is. Guru. But I just want to, I was doing some digging, and you know how my mind works. This is before I get into the readings for everybody here, but just looking at everything that's happening in the last 30 days. Like I was just thinking, here I am. I'm just thinking of all the cray stuff that's been going on in the last 30 days. And I know, since the beginning of August, and we know we had Venus retrograde, and we have all of these retrogrades going on, and disruptions that are happening really cause a lot of disruptions within the world, and I always call it the gravitational pull that it has on our planet. And sometimes the farthest away planet can have the biggest pull because it feels minute or small until it actually just um, gets bigger. Now, if we go back 30, even 32 days, 32 days ago, we had the Maui fires. Right now in Canada, we still have over 1,000 wildfires going, you know, and we're also seeing, the crazy thing that happened in Burning Man. And we also have, the hurricanes that are hitting. And then Morocco, the horrific thing that just happened in Morocco. And now that summer is in the south, or we're going to be heading into fall in the southern hemisphere, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of crazy type of forest fires and things happening in the southern, below the equator as well. And as I look at these things, because the energies are changing, things are shifting within us, the world is shifting, and in that shifting is an awakening. The awakening is getting us to really pay attention. But many times, things are happening so fast, and so such transformation is going on that we sometimes, we end up blocking it out, or we're not paying any attention to this. But I'm going to go back into, because I'm looking at the second and the eighth house when I'm doing these readings for people. And the second and the eighth house are our financial houses. What are they? And especially the eighth house. The eighth house has to do with insurance. And what does that insurance have to do with the economy? So the eighth house is actually ruled by Scorpio. And Scorpio is, the new ruler is Pluto. Where is Pluto? Pluto is in Capricorn right now. Capricorn has to do with structures and how the structures are made, created. It has to do with governments, institutions, hospitals, corporations, things along that line. It has to do with rules and regulations, because Capricorn is also ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is the one who wants to put the rules and restriction on things because of its rings. The rings bring in the restrictions. So I start to think, okay, what are the restrictions and stuff that are going to wanting to happen in this world at this time because of all the craziness? And the very thing, I got like everything going up in inflation. Well, okay, we have Jupiter actually retrograding, and he kind of hyperinflates things, or gets things inflated. But since he's in reverse, that means that a lot of things are going to come back up again. Things are going to come back up within this world, because it's in Taurus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus is, ending her retrograde and moving forward from Leo. So it's like, she wants to get out there. She wants to start doing things, but the restrictions coming in on what it is that you can and cannot do are coming in very strongly. And that's what I'm seeing in the world. And when I look at all of these crazy disasters that have been happening, more so, some people say, even, in Greece and things like that, and people are saying, well, these are just normal. Not all of them. This is a little bit more than usual, just a little bit more than usual. This is where I'm going to say to people that you're going to have to look at your increased, that's going to be coming within your premiums, increased insurance. Insurance rates are going to be starting to go up. And the thing is that they'll start to look at, oh, you're in a high fire area. Fire seems to come here. We always have issues with your house burning down. Sorry, you're not going to get your that increase in your premiums. This is where people are going to see increase in premiums right across the board when it comes to our expenses. So this is where it's going to be very difficult for a lot of people to sell. This is where, when I see all these developments going up here in Calgary, yeah, some of them may sell, things are selling, but how much is going to sell coming into the new year and with things beginning to increase? So this is what people are going to be starting to see, and especially retirees. That's the other part, because there's such an influx in our world right now, and especially here in the Western world, there is a higher ratio to older people than to younger people. It's like living in Penticton. There's a higher ratio to older than to younger, right? So we're going to see a lot of retirees and a lot of people who are even close to retirement, or people that are in their 40s and 50s losing their jobs. And this is going to be more difficult for them to reestablish themselves or even get another job, because we're going to find a huge downturn when it comes to losing jobs. Now, what does that mean? That is meaning that we are now having to look at and create outside the box. We are now having to look at the world in a different place. And this is where, when homeowners in that can't sell, or their premiums go up, rents will start going down, because people don't want to pay $3,500 for a mortgage, a mortgage, insurance, upkeep on the property, or do you want to pay $1,500 a month on a similar property, right? And you just, may just have renter's insurance. And some places aren't even renter's insurance. Some places aren't even giving you that renter's insurance. So it's very interesting, and especially since I've been focusing a lot on those two houses. So Kathy, I think you might be on Facebook right now. Let's see if I can pull up here I am. And there's Holly there. Who else is here? Okay, let me see who's all here right now. Or is this one from the last one? This one looks like it's from the last one. So we are now, there we are. That was last night's. So right now I can't pull up I can't pull up the one on Facebook right now. So just an FYI, just letting people know, I can't pull it up. If you are on my Facebook page, Mary June Tracy, just message me that you're there. On Messenger, just message me that you're there, because I can't pull it up or see who's there. And if you are wanting a reading, and definitely if you are on my Mary June Tracy page, then definitely message me and let me know that you are wanting a reading. So it's $10 for a reading right now, and I'm doing them live. I'm doing them right now. So it's important. If you're on Facebook, right on. Thank you, Kathy. The thing is that in order for me to actually see your comments, you have to be on Instagram or you have to be on YouTube. So for me to be able to see the readings and stuff, you can see me, but I can't see you. Woo! So if you are wanting a reading, definitely $10 for a reading. You can e-transfer me. I'm just getting into the mode of Kathy and her energies and pulling up her chart right now. You can e-transfer me if you wish, or you can PayPal. Preferably e-transfer than PayPal, because e-transfers don't take the shit out. Unfortunately, PayPal takes so much out. So by the time you get $10, the $10 ends up being like $8 or so. By the time they take out all their fees and stuff, but that's what it costs to do business nowadays, I guess. There we go. I'm pulling up one more. Got to get Eris on there. There we go. So pulling up Kathy's chart. Now, Kathy told me before that it was okay for me to share her chart. So, and I love to share her chart because her chart is a little bit cray cray, just to say the least. Okay, let me go. Hello, I just PayPal you. Tell me something I don't know, please. I had to pay PayPal because I'm in the US. No, that's fine. No, and that's why I have PayPal set up. PayPal, I have it set up for a lot of my foreign people who are in like US or UK and things like that. I mean, that's the service, right? And that's what it's there for, man. Got to have the service. Okay, so here we are. We're going to close that off. Can I close that off? So here we are. This is Kathy's chart that I'm showing you all. So for all of you who are just sort of looking in, I don't know if you can see my little whirly dirly on there, my little pointer, but this is Kathy's chart. And we are going to be right now, as I'm looking at Kathy's chart, I'm going to zoom in on her second house, and her second house is Aries. She has her house, her sun in Aries, which is home, but it is also where I start to look at, let's see if you can still see that. There you go. That, I'm going to bring up a different one. Just 1 second. Hold on. Just bear with me, people. There we go. There we go. This one's a little bit cleaner to see. There's no other stuff. So on her chart, when I'm looking at her chart, I see Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus, and having her her 8th house is like a Libra Scorpio. So she's got Scorpio in there too, because it's split. I don't do whole houses. So I look at that Libra, and the Libra is having to do things, balancing the financials, balancing that of what it is. It has to do with the relationship and the relationships that you have with that money and how you deal with them. And now I go down to find the lovely little Venus, and Venus is in Taurus, which is nice. And Taurus is in her second house. Taurus rules that second house. So there is something to do with gaining that financial stability. The financial stability is there for her and ruling from her heart. Now, she's another one with Venus retrograde. That means a lot of things for her coming in 18-month cycle, because that's when Venus retrograde. And to have a Venus retrograde, as I said before, with someone else's chart, it's very odd to have a Venus retrograde in your chart because it doesn't retrograde very often. So when we see that, that means that there, when she does retrograde, that means that there is a lot of things you can get done within those 40 days. Those 40 days are days that you can really build things, create things, have things done, and especially in your second house. So it's showing me that things in your second house can be created. We can create things, and we can create that abundance. It's doing the work and doing it, because that's what the Taurus is. It's not to sort of procrastinate on that. And especially when we look across the street, and we see Scorpio. Scorpio is the one that whatever those joint finances are, what are those joint finances? What do they look like? And with Scorpio, we have to look at where her Pluto is. And her Pluto, when we get down to her Pluto is she was born in the era with Pluto in Leo. And having a Pluto in Leo means loyalty. Pluto in Leo is loyalty. A lot of L's there. So having that loyalty in what is she doing and what she does. And in the 7th house, it is with relationships. How am I loyal to the relationships? How am I loyal to the things that I do and how I create? Now, I know Kathy very well. She is one of my clients. She's one of my friends. And I know she's very loyal. She's very loyal to the work that she does. She's very loyal to what she is wanting to do. Now, with the energies that are coming in right now, and especially when we're going to go down to the transits that are taking place right now, and I don't need to put them up because I basically know where they are. When I look at the transits that are happening right now, it's like in her second house, or it's going actually into her 3rd house. It's learning how to communicate in a new way with how you deal with your finances. Now, that makes so much sense because of her age. And how things are transpiring in her world. It's really taking that matter more seriously, and that Uranus is conjunct with and I'm looking at it, and it's conjunct to Jupiter. So Jupiter being there, Jupiter wants to expand that energy, expand that newness. So there's a lot of new energy that wants to come in with her, but I don't feel the new energy that wants to come in, or the new expansions, especially when it comes to financial well-being, is not going to really show up until next year. And that's when Uranus goes forward, and that's when Pluto will be going forward and things. So things won't be starting to really rise up again for her until probably springtime. Springtime will bring her, and that's right around her birthday. Her sun is in the first house. Then that's sort of like how she's going to shine. There's a shininess that comes in with that, because it's going to have, because she has, Juno there, Juno with that beautiful Venus energy is really about bringing in that give and take, and bringing in a foundation. What is that foundation I need to create for myself at this time? And especially when Eris is in around there too. So that, that can cause a little disruption there, with Eris coming in between where her Venus is and where Juno is, meaning that with Eris coming in, she wants to be seen, she wants to be heard. She's tired of being told what to do, or having to be told what to do. She's ready to strike it out on her own, or strike out and be seen on what she's going to strike out on her own. And it comes into her own financial well-being and how she feels with her financial self. So it's really important to really structure at this time and over the next several months her financials, and structuring her financials. So not saying that she's not going to be financially secure. There is a security definitely there with her, but we're structuring those finances in a way that brings the loyalty to her, and that is a little harshness that's there, because Taurus, does come in strongly in her second, but in her third, it's like, how am I going to communicate this in a new way? Because that also goes into her Gemini. Her Gemini's in her third and her fourth, so that there could be a little bit of craziness when it comes to home and family life, and trying to juggle that home and family life, because of the Gemini being there. So it is where she needs to look at, how am I going to juggle that home and family life as things change, as things transpire in my life and in my world. Because Jupiter is as Jupiter is still in Taurus, but Jupiter will be leaving Taurus. So as Jupiter goes into Gemini next year and enters into Gemini, that means that there's going to be some changes of how you want to get to where you want to go, how you want to expand, how you want to create that newness within your home and family life. And that's really a big draw, and it goes back up to that Libra energy, and the Libra energy is saying, how am I going to live with this from my truth, the truth that is me? And Scorpio is like, how are you going to put the boundaries up? Because the boundaries, when we look at the boundaries, we come back to the loyalty of what she was born with within that Pluto is like, I was born with this Pluto in Leo. That means I'm here for the commitment, and I'm going to commit to these things, but it's changing. There's a change that's coming up. It's almost like a changing of the guard, this energy of changing, saying that you don't have to be the way that you've been committed with the relationships that you have or had in the past. They're changing. There's something new that's coming in for you, and you're not going to really see it for a little while now. You're not going to see it for a little while now. And when it comes to that home, and that things could move fast, but that's where everything is at, where you're going to find everything going. And that's probably why I was sort of muddling over all of this energy about reselling and selling of the place, where it could be a lot of difficulties in people doing that at this time. So this might be turning into your place into a rental, your home into a rental. so that you can go off and do the other things that you want to do. So changing that into a rental, and what does that rental look like? And how long do you want to have it for? Because I got 2024 is going to be a mixed bag when it comes to comes into when we're looking at things to do with selling homes and things along that line. Pluto will be back into Aquarius, and we look at back into Aquarius, we got Vesta there. Vista is the goddess of home and hearth, and is the hearth, and it's in Aquarius. So that means I'm wanting my home and hearth into something new, into something that is unique, that is to me. And Pluto's coming in there, and sort of he's coming in and he's breaking up the traditions of what people thought communities and that are. So there's a breakup of communities, the breakup of how you think the community should be, or how you want to make that commitment to oneself. So what do we have? A new journey is coming in. So the Three of Wands, we have a new journey. There's something new, prosperity arising, definitely, but you got to plan well with what you are doing. So that goes back to how you are planning and how you are dealing with the balancing of your own finances. And how does that, because you got to be optimistic with things, because things can turn and change very quickly, especially where Uranus is in that Taurus energy, which relates to both your second and third house. And then we have, as I pull it out, is the Nine of Wands. So the Nine of Wands comes in, and this is where you got to, it says stay determined. So this may be that you get frustrated with how things are coming about, how things are moving. So things might not move exactly the way you want it, because there's going to be a little bit of unwavering with how things are going to move and sell. There could be a little bit of, difficulty in there. So I feel like there could be some kind of different options that might come in that create something new and different to how you want to go forward, in your life plans, in the things that you want to go forward in. And in that, I mean, I do get the Two of Cups. So it's creating something more of what you want. But I think there's also that sadness, is that you're not creating this within the boundaries of who you want it to create it with. And that brings in some of the restrictions too, and how things are unfolding right now. So I got, like, even for things to go right now with where Venus is, and Venus moving on and going into Virgo, I feel like I got 8. Like, I'm going to go with my Virgo thing, or not my Virgo. I'm going to go with my Venus thing and say that it's going to be another 18 months before anything really transpires for the direction that you truly want to go into. And that 18 months is going to be a preparation, and allowing for preparation for you, and allowing for things to sort of settle down, I guess. A lot of people who are trying to let go of their homes right now, they're trying to get the biggest sale on it, but it's, who's ever buying it, they're the ones who are going to get kicked in the teeth in the next little while, because of everything in the hyperinflations and the increased premiums and all of that. But I feel like for you, this is springtime. There's going to be some changes there, but I think it's not going to be the way you think the changes are going to be. It's going to look differently. So whether that's going to be a rent to own, or you're looking at new ways of structuring that out, that's a big piece there for you, Kathy. So hang on. It's just, and your way that you are looking at how you are dedicating yourself, and your life is going to be changing quite a bit in the next little while as well. So definitely there. So my loves. Okay. So thank you, Kathy. Thank you for all your support and everything else. And Erica, thank you for your support. And same with Holly. You guys are so supportive of me, and thank you very much for all that you do. So right now, I don't have anybody else to my knowledge that is asking for another reading. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to start pulling cards, and start doing that. So oh, you're so welcome, Kathy. You're so welcome. So I saged these cards. So now that I saged them, they're not going. It's kind of funny once you sage something. they feel more slippery. There we go. That's what I want it to do. You're very welcome. Okay, so let's pull some cards. Just pull cards randomly for people. That's what we're going to do. We're going to pull some cards. And let's just pull some cards. You know what? I'm going to bring in the other tarot too. So we're going to pull some cards and ask some questions here on stuff. So let's ask some questions on any suggestions. I got a lot of things in my head, but I'm just saying if there's any suggestions on questions. So if you have a question, definitely have it out. So, okay, one question I have had a lot of people ask about, and I'm not going to pull a card, but it's a question about elections, and especially the election for Canada, and if there's going to be one. And somebody said, oh, wait, September's coming and stuff like that. It's September 9th. Do I think there's going to be an election? I don't feel it. I don't feel there's going to be an election being called in Canada at this time. As of yet, he might do it. If he does, it might be at the end of the year or something. I can't, the thing is that it's kind of weird. We don't run on a cycle of every 4 years like the United States. And he did have an election during COVID, so he technically does not have to call another one. So that's the whole thing. So on that note, what does that mean for Canada? What does that mean for, things transpiring here for us? So let's take a look. Well, it means that there's going to be something. There's going to be some kind of new opportunity. I'm going to stop the share with her. I still have her thing up. There's going to be some kind of new opportunity. Something new is coming in for Canada, and there's something also with holding the world in the hand. So, I think in some instance, he thinks he has the world in his hands. That could be that he believes he has the world in his hands. What does that mean? That means there's some optimism there. Ooh, there's something good. So there's some optimism that's coming in that's going to happen with that, but it ain't going to be financially good. So with all of this, feeling optimistic, being young and enterprising, so thinking that you got the world in your hands, yet when it comes to the 10 of Pentacles, it's not very optimistic with it coming in reverse. That means that there's going to be things that are going to topple. The finances aren't going to be there. The money's not going to be there, but they're going to try and get you to feel it's there, or get you, or deceive in some way in that it's there, thinking that look at what we're doing, and yet causing more chaos and stuff. And what all does that mean? That means that there's going to be some huge choices. The Chariot comes in, the Cancer. So that safety and security that comes in. What is that safety and security that's going to be appearing for the Canadians at this time? How does that look? Because there's going to be some big choices that are going to be coming forward, I think, for Canadians to look at, especially when it comes to their financial well-being. And I think that's also for the world at this time. The other question, I had a question, somebody asked me about the thing that's the thing. I can't say what the thing is, because if I say what the thing is, unfortunately, I get dinged. So a lot of questions on the new thing that's coming out with the new elixirs and stuff like that, that are coming forward. People are asking questions, what's this all about? Same thing. It's the dark trying to make you scared. The dark is trying to push you into something and try and take that control, thinking, again, the Two of Wands, thinking, oh, look, we got the world. It's like, we got we got you by the short and curlies, but do they really have you by the short and curlies? Right? Because it's going to come to a point where when people get so strapped they can't pay what they need to pay, that's when you start seeing people really start freaking out. When people cannot take care of their family, when people cannot, it's fine. Okay, I can't take my vacation this year. Okay, I'm going to restrict and drive one car instead of two. Little things like that, people start to say, okay, until it starts to get to a point where they cannot feed their family, and that's going to be a big one. And that's where a lot of worry comes in. So the worry comes in. So I feel like when you start looking at things, with everything, people are worrying. They're, and I think it's an over worry. They're worried about things that aren't to be yet, and they got to really trust in their intuition and trust in oneself. The page comes in, trusting in oneself, not worrying about this and that and all of the craziness. You got to really come back to your own self, your own passion, and what it is true to you, and look at how that is unfolding for you, because it's going to create more of the happiness that you want. And in creating that happiness and creating that alignment for yourself, this is going to help you to rejoice. This is going to help you to enjoy. And that's going to be a huge one. Finding the places that bring forth the happy meter. What is that happy meter within you? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Having the gratitudes and all of that is very much a big piece of it as well. So, a lot of changes are definitely coming, but we got to find our happy places and how we approach them, and really watch where we're finding the frustration and getting frustrated within our lives. So that frustration, it's unfolding in many different ways. And I got to pull another card. Oh, yeah, page of Gabriel. So I got a page of Gabriel. This one is reversed and that one was forward. So this is like, this one was saying follow your passion, but the frustration might stop you from following the truth of your passion. So it's like looking at, what am I not following? What am I not doing? There's going to be frustration there. There might be things not unfolding the way that you want them to unfold, as quickly as you want them to unfold. And that can really bring in the frustration. So the page comes in. Yes, he's saying, yes, there's goodness and everything else, but he's also coming in and saying, you got to find that road, for the things that matter, your truth, which is, definitely Mars coming in and finding that truth. So when you look at your truth within your own self, you don't get into the weed of complications, because that's going to get you into complications. It's going to get into complications. And that's what we're going to be seeing, is a lot of people overcomplicating things that don't need to be overcomplicated. Or if you're working on something and you're learning something new and it is complicated, try and approach it in a way that is positive and happy. Do things that bring in cheers. So let's say you're doing your taxes and you have to get your taxes all together and you're being audited or something. Color code them. Because the thing is that if you start looking at, well, they're doing my taxes, but when you start putting your receipts together and stuff like that, color code them, like, oh, this is where we spent the time here, oh, we got to do this. And so bring in something positive within it, even though it might be a very daunting task that is having to be done at this time, but try and make it in a positive way. Try and look at it in a positive way, and in looking at that in a positive way is really going to help you to really step forward into something more, something greater for yourself, and stepping into something of a positivity. So there you go. Well, my friends, I don't think there's anybody else who wants a reading on here, but it's so great that you guys showed up, and I'm glad you showed up, and I'm glad you're so supportive of me. Thank you very much. I'm going to go have dinner right now and sit back and relax and enjoy the evening with a cup of tea. So doing these things and doing, every once in a while, you're going to see me coming on and doing a lot more of these. And that's one, bringing awareness to what I do, and letting people see more of what I do, and all of that fun stuff. So anyways, have a good night. My brain has just left the building. So have a blessed one, everybody. And we will talk to you all tomorrow. We'll see how the day unfolds for tomorrow.